Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. The weather is warmer. Time to head outside, enjoy your yard, enjoy your patio. The best way to do that is try out the new mosquito treatments from Southeast Termite and Pest Control. These things are great. They get rid of the mosquitoes. In fact, they pick up the poison and then they take it elsewhere. So your neighbors will like you too for killing all the mosquitoes. But it doesn't hurt the bees, the birds, the other little creatures in your yard. They're not bothered by this, but this new treatment is spectacular. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Get in touch with them, have them clear out the mosquitoes from your yard so you can really take advantage of summer this year in East Tennessee. All right, back with Vince, Jimmy, Marlon, and Bob. I said my piece in that last segment, so I'll let you guys, I think you can do the math on this one. Bob, since you've been in the media, you have seen Harvey Schiller, Roy Kramer, Mike Slive, and now Greg Sankey as SEC commissioner. Is Greg Sankey leading the SEC as well as Mike Slive did?
I'm going to say that it's incomplete because when Slive left, you'd brought new teams into the conference. Okay, new teams are coming into the conference again. We don't know how that's going to work since they're not going to be here until next year. To me, the comparison is hard. Slive was there as the money, I think, really exploded. That during his tenure, which was what, 13 years, 14 years, something like that. That's when the money started getting huge. It's only gotten huger since then. I cut Sankey some slack from the fact that the teams that he leads as conference commissioner, Mike Slive didn't have transfer portal. He didn't have NIL. There's other issues that I think probably distract from keeping your eye on the ball, like this scheduling thing. So right now, I'm going to give it a little incomplete and lean towards no. He hasn't done as well as Mike Slive, but I just think that it's moving more.
Vince?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Bob said because it is a different era. There are so many more challenges. I think Sankey is still overall done a great job. All of us disagree with this 9-game schedule deal or staying to 8 games, but there are a lot of other things in the growth of the conference that are really good, and it's continued to ascend, but it's a totally different landscape. And what if some of those things were present for Mike Slive? I think under the circumstances of college football at that time, I think Mike Slive was the best. So I would give him the edge, but it is a very different landscape.
All these guys have changes. Roy Kramer led the nation with the SEC championship game, first league to do that. Mm-hmm. And Harvey Schiller was actually wanting to do that even before they had that idea. You go to Mike Slive, the Big Ten led the way with with their own Big Ten network, but Mike Slive was the one that went out and grabbed Missouri and Texas A&M so he could launch the networks. There's changes with all of these guys. Mm-hmm. That said, I agree, it is a changing landscape. It makes me wonder, you mentioned it, that if Mike Slive had wanted this to happen, it would have happened. Mm-hmm. I wonder if this isn't one of the changes, though, now. It's a bigger league, so you got more people you have to convince of things. Also, you got people, again, schools now are moneymakers. Now, everybody paid tuition, but now it's an insane tuition. And it's about keeping students happy and giving them a good student life experience and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Randy Boyd was hired as a fundraiser. He's a money guy. That's number one. Danny White, money now. It's not athletic. I mean, Doug Dickey loved the dollar, but he also loved athletics first. I just wonder if now he's having to corral some cats that came in with more of an eye toward greenbacks than championship banners.
I don't know the answer to that.
It's a question. I don't know.
To the answer to your question, I would have said yes on Sankey until this SEC schedule came up. I didn't have any problem with the things he did until this one. And I don't agree with the direction they went, and I was surprised that he was unable to sway the folks in his league to go in the way he wanted them to.
If Texas and Oklahoma had a vote and not just a voice, does that play out differently?
Well, it was 9 to 5. So
well, if it's 9 to 5, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I mean,
9 to 7 doesn't make it any better.
Just to be clear, my anger is not, and it is anger, is not directed at Greg Sankey over the 9 games. He didn't make that call. It's your president, your athletic director, your coach. They vote as a block. I mean, it's the president who does it, but that's their group is 8. All around the league, the majority was 8. Those are the people who make decisions. Where I think Sankey looks worse today, and this is what I didn't expect, and this is why I think it's what you said. I don't think Slive would have said, we're at the forefront. We're not worried about money. And then gone back into a room and then been thrown out to go, we're about some money, we ain't forefront. I don't think that happens with Mike Slive, and I think Sankey did. They basically said, yeah, go get us a glass of water. And he's like, okay. I mean, that's where I think, and that could come back. The NCAA follows Greg Sankey. Everybody talks about him as the most powerful man in athletics. Could that be harmed by the fact that now people are going to look at it and say, he's not even the most powerful man in his own conference? He said all this, and his presidents just laughed at him.
Yep, I think that's a good point of view.
You kneecapped your own commissioner. My anger is not at him, though I don't think he's as strong as Slive. What's your thought, Slive, Sankey?
I would say Sankey's doing a good job. And I say this because Sankey wanted the 9 games. Now, the presidents voted and said no. And so that kind of turned his decision making or the way he looked at the podium. But I would say him wanting it, but then also draft picks, viewership.
He is money.
We're doing good in the SEC. I would say he's keeping the trend going.
Big Ten made a big splash. I like their television deals better because you're not just tied into. I mean, I like the fact that ESPN is going to put some of the games here on ABC. That's going to be good starting next year. But when you tied in all of your stuff instead of diversifying, there's a danger in that. ESPN's not spending a lot of money right now, and they don't have. They're not paying you this money for Texas and Oklahoma. It makes it look like ESPN wasn't thrilled about Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, which again is a Sankey issue. The other Sankey issue that I had in mind, and it just flipped my gourd. We'll save it for another rant another day. All right. When we come back, if Tennessee goes 11-1, would they get a playoff spot against another 11-1 team? Let's take a look. Let's say Tennessee finishes just almost like they did last year. And we'll put them up against other teams around the country with the exact same deal. It's just a different schedule. And we'll let you see who you think would get the bid nationally based on schedule. Come on back.